Alright, guys, we're gonna do this. Oh, yeah. Hey, Vamp Cat, how's it going? Okay. Give me a few seconds. A little cricket. I'm running late, is what it's going on. 12? Oh, it's with that 12 months resub! Thank you. Thank you. I hope you're enjoying yourself. Alright, let's see. First and foremost, we need to figure out why I can't do anything. 20 biddies, thank you. Hey, Solray. Alright, so the catch today is we're going to do a little bit of D&D talks beforehand. It's where players or even you guys can ask questions about the game, some maybe rules or something that you don't understand or think that needs to be a little bit more clear, or you're interested in your story behind the character for the player, or something else. I don't know. I am also going to be eating my lunch, so once I fix face rig here, I will be getting into Discord. Well, I'm already in it. But anyways, I'll be getting into Discord. And we will go from there. I hope all your day is going wonderfully. We are in D&D stream, so that way only players can enter the Discord. But you guys can ask me any questions you want. Well, be on the thing. And that was silly. There we go. Hey, us! Alright. Cold. Alright. So first and foremost, I was requested to do this by Solray and a few others. We should get Solray in here. We're gonna sneakily move him in here. Hey, Solray.
Hey.
How's it going?
Not bad.
So I don't recommend eating peanut butter and jelly over your keyboard.
Normally, you wouldn't eat anything over your keyboard. Well, I should say optimally. Normally, I eat everything over my keyboard.
I was gonna say.
Typically, I eat peanut butter and jelly over bread.
Line your keyboard with bread.
Alright. So Solray had a few good questions that we were going to talk about. Except I don't remember what they were.
I remember some of it. One was...
Disengage.
Yeah, disengage and using other actions along with justifying moving, then doing an action, then moving again. As part of the whole combat, because I've noticed that most of our combat is really just standing still. We just face tank everything, and it's as you saw in the last campaign at the fire camp. If we don't get rolls going our way, we get destroyed. Like we have the options to just run away or around or kite, use natural cover, things like that, and we're not doing that. So I think we need that help in order to like survive some of these encounters, but not make them so easy that they're trivial.
Yeah. So first and foremost, our general homebrewed rules are: you have one movement set, one bonus, one action, one reaction, and I guess an interaction, which never made sense to me because I just assumed you'd do it anyways.
Yeah, it's there. It's not like people go, "Oh, I didn't take my interaction, man. I got cheated."
Right? Yeah. Okay, so for simplistic reasons, we have been doing only you're able to do one of those. at a time. So you can't move twice, basically.
Mm-hmm.
You can only move once. You can only move once. You can only do your action once, type idea. For simplicity reasons. And you have to do your action on your turn. But as a reaction, doesn't have to be on your turn. If you have a reaction to do. The other one is... Now, Oz can correct me on this. Your bonus action... Doesn't that have to be done on your turn as well?
Yes.
Okay. That's what I was thinking. So the only thing that can be not done on your turn is a reaction.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so let's start with disengage. So disengage, anybody can do as an action. It's just taking your movement and during an action that's on your turn and moving away without having any opportune penalty attacks. But it costs an action. So that means you can't go, oh, I'm going to attack this guy and then move. No, you get an opportunity attack against you for that one. But if you didn't attack, you didn't use your action, and you want to disengage away from them, you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is a
yeah, there are more actions that I found out about that maybe we could, as players, try to take advantage of. Things like shoving, grappling, right? Disengage, which you talked about. Going prone. I think there was one more, but I don't remember.
Alright, hold on. I'm looking it up. Hold on. Mm-hmm. There was one I really wanted to discuss. Was besides
dodge.
The disengage.
And help.
A lot of the reasons we don't you seriously? You just sent me there, you jerk. There we go. Sorry, I'm trying to read a web page that isn't reading a web page. Alright, so dodge is considered wasn't it considered an action? Yeah, so dodge is also considered an action.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the other thing. And for dodge, I guess you could say
well, that one's kind of weird because the way they described it was it's something that you take as your action, but you actually use it as a reaction. It's like, well, yeah, if you get attacked, then that dodge comes into play that you used earlier.
Yeah.
So the enemy gets disadvantage, or you get advantage or something.
According to this, you take a dodge action. You focus entirely on avoiding attacks. I would assume that's a full action then. And then until the start of your next turn, any attack rolled made against you has disadvantage if you can see the attack. You make a dexterity saving throws with advantage otherwise. Mm-hmm. You lose this benefit if you are incapacitated or your speed drops to 0. Mm-hmm. In other words, you're knocked out or almost dead.
Yeah. So like a perfect example of this would be if you're going into a room and you suspect it's trapped, and while the person trying to disarm it is doing their thing, the rest of the party could be, on high alert, ready to dodge any traps. So they would use dodge.
But isn't an alert
Well, the high alert is more like a role-playing justification of using dodge right then and there.
Well, I thought that was more like a readiness or something.
Well, I don't know if there is one like that.
Interesting. And then we discussed help between you and me. So let's rediscuss it here. Help takes a action.
Your action.
Yep, takes an action. And you can help somebody that likes you. It says friendly creature, but it's usually somebody you're helping that you, I assume, likes you.
Yeah.
To a certain extent. Anyways, you take your action and you're helping this friend. You got to be within 5 feet, and in our case, you have to tell me how you're helping them in an RP stance.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't just go over to somebody and say, "Oh, I'm helping him." Well, that's nice. How are you helping him? And if you can't RP it, you might get a free one during the fight, but
you're not gonna get
beyond that, you gotta have an RP reason to RP way of helping them.
Yeah, like examples that I posed to Moon would be like, okay, so Hoppus just saw Bindle get knocked over by a spell or something, so she runs over and helps him up, and then gives him his loot. So now Bindle on his next turn is like a step ahead. He didn't have to grab his own loot. He was able to like get a step ahead, so he had help in that. So now he has advantage on his next turn. And
on his next attack.
Yeah, on his next attack. Another way you could kind of justify it is like if you're close to the enemy and you grab his attention. You take his focus away from the person that's trying to attack him, like the hunter. So you get his attention. Now the hunter has like a flanking, attack on that enemy. So you kind of help the hunter get a really good shot. But I mean that costs you your turn, so you're not going to be able to.
So be careful too.
That costs you your turn. But there were times when, especially like Hoppus had nothing to do because she didn't have any damaging range spells. So she could have been helping in other ways, and there's actually a mechanic in the game called help that I found out about. So I just came to.
But also, help isn't just for like battle. It's not just for battle. You can help somebody push a wall down, or what you hope is a hidden door if you can't find the latch to open it. But you can help somebody push them, and they get an advantage, and they can try again. Blah blah blah. I think the other one was cover.
I don't think there's a cover mechanic, but there is role-playing cover from what I understand.
Well, there's a hide action.
Yeah, there is a hide action. I don't know what exactly that does.
When you take a hide action, you make a dexterity stealth check and attempt to hide following the rules of hiding. If you succeed and gain certain benefits described under... Yeah, okay. Let's check out what hiding specifically means.
Because in the examples that I was like watching in these videos, they did a lot of things like you might see like in a movie or in a TV show where they would pop out of a tree, shoot, and then get back into cover to provide that defense when it's their turn to get attacked. And maybe that's what they're doing is hiding, but they didn't explain it. They didn't actually say use the hide command to pop out into a tree or something. Because I really can't find anything about like using cover. I know you can go prone and you get, or if anybody attacks you with a range attack, they get a disadvantage because you're prone.
Right.
But I can't find anything about like being behind cover, behind a wall, behind a tree, maybe behind a bigger character, like having my hide behind a bigger character, like actually Bindle has done in the game. But I don't know if that's actual mechanic for the game. I did it as a RPing, but I don't know if I would have, like, if I would have been targeted, would they have targeted me with disadvantage? I would say yes, because I distinctly said I'm taking cover behind, I think it was behind grass at the time. But
Yeah.
I don't know if that's an
I don't
actual
even think they
game
were
mechanic.
after you when they were after Gress at the time, anyways.
Yeah, and I put myself in danger too if they attack with an area of effect.
Yeah. I don't know. Oz?
I'm sorry, I gotta say it again.
We're discussing cover and if it's a mechanic of the game and how it would work, if it would be considered an action, bonus action.
Considering the
so
fact
on
that I
and so
took
forth.
40 damage from that shit, yeah, it's definitely a mechanic.
What, cover?
Kinda. Remind you of the time I was trampled.
Oh, right, yeah.
Same concept. So if Bindle hides behind me, then any range attack's gonna hit me.
First, before him. If he's, or there'll be disadvantage to the attack. Okay, yeah.
Or it'll be disadvantaged. I mean, if he wants to not hit me and hit Bindle instead, then that'll be a disadvantage.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, some chance to hit me anyway. I don't know how that would work, but it would be definitely disadvantage.
Yeah, we would probably just say it'd be disadvantage to the person they are trying to attack if they're in cover. If it's a... I don't know. I'd probably have to do that situational. And then you also... What was the other thing? I think that covers all the...
There's a lot of the movements.
Movements.
Yeah, because we talked about justifying your movement. Like within a 6-second time limit, because that's kind of seems reasonable. If you could justify running, casting a spell, then running again to take cover, and it only took 6 seconds, like that seems okay. But if you're trying to do too much, you're running, casting a spell, running over here to pick something up, running over there to do something else, even though that's within your limit of your move speed, like 25 feet, it would still take so long that it's not reasonable. You know what I mean?
I think the way I justified it is if you're moving in a single direction, no going around something, this doesn't count. That doesn't count. But if you're going in a single direction, point A to point B, straight line, and there's somebody, let's say smack dab in the middle of your point A to point B, you can stand kind of like right next to them and then use a bonus action to say, I heal you, and then you finish your movement, and then you have that action left at the end of your movement, then I didn't seem to have a problem with it.
Right.
Because I know
like
you
just a
guys have
smooth-
bonus actions for healing,
Yeah,
I
'cause
think.
that just feels like a smooth, action sequence.
But if you're gonna move in that straight line and use an action in the middle, I'd probably say you could only move half of what you could have moved then at that point. Because an action takes quite a bit of time.
Okay, so let an action take
Well,
half your
kinda.
movement.
I mean, so by what you use it spell, cantrip, right? The casting time is instant, but it's still considered an action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's like going prone doesn't cost you any movement, but getting up from prone costs you half your movement. And that's
What? Seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Huh.
dropping on the ground is easy. Standing back up, you've got to actually stand back up. Well, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, like, doing all this thing with movement and action, you get the sense that it's going to start getting really complicated and mathy. So I understand why
Well,
you
not
would
really.
say,
You
yeah.
do one action.
Yeah, but it's kind of like, okay, I got up from prone, and then I'm going to do an action, then I'm going to go over here and take cover. It starts to feel like it's too much, and now you got to do the math to see if you have the movement to actually do all that. And I think that's what Moon was trying to avoid by just saying, you can only move once. It's just a simpler way without impacting gameplay too much. But I came to her and asked her if there's, like, maybe situations if we could justify where we could have two movements with something in between, because that might help us not have to face tank. Right? Like if Hoppus doesn't want to melee, but I want to get close to somebody to heal somebody that's in melee, and she has the move speed to run, heal them with by in touch, and then run away. That would help her in combat, but that wouldn't be allowed under Moon's old rules.
Yeah, but then you also incur the disengage, or what you call it, the opportunity attack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if she gets close enough, yes, yeah. But I'm thinking if she's not like just in the back line, like just behind somebody who has someone in front of them. Like that's a very conditional situation, but that I'm just using that as an example of something that she might want to do, but because of the old rules, she wouldn't be able to. She would be kind of stuck, and now she's in, one step away from an enemy where she doesn't actually want to be. As an example, or someone could try to run in because they have a short range spell they want to use, and then run back out, which would help us in avoiding this face tanking situations where we leave it up to the rolls, and if the rolls don't go well, we get crushed. But I do remember saying that is something that we should keep an eye out on, and also the double cast rule, casting 2 spells in one turn. Because I learned that you can't cast a spell as your action and then use your bonus action to cast another spell unless the first spell was a cantrip. And I've been doing that. I've been casting 2 heals on one turn.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that?
Yeah, that's
you
what
can't.
I found out just like watching videos and reading stuff. And I found out that
But I've been letting it go and letting people do it anyways.
Yeah, because the danger that was presented in the argument to not do it was, I think there's a quickening cantrip or something for wizards that lets them shoot a fireball as their bonus action. So without that rule, wizards would be casting 2 fireballs in one turn.
Mm-hmm.
So then that rule isn't there just for that, but it's to avoid situations like that. So I told Moon that I've been breaking this rule because I didn't know about it, and so we discussed what she thinks about it, and she didn't see it as a problem, but I do think we should take a look. Just keep an eye on it in case it does become a problem, because we don't want the encounters to become trivial, because we could if Bindle finds a way to cast
fireballs.
2 thunder waves right after another and decimate the encounter. Like that's, she's gonna have to up the monsters then if we do that, and then you get into this what is it, a power creep situation.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I haven't seen a problem with it because you guys have been using different spells.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, with Quicken, they're technically saying you can use 2 spells of the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Venom. That's what I thought too.
But
yeah, these
because you guys aren't. Yeah.
Unless it's a cantrip, you can cast a cantrip, which is a spell, and then a bonus action of a spell. But you can't use your action to cast a spell in your non-cantrip spell, and then use your bonus action for another spell.
Mm-hmm.
And since we've been playing, it doesn't feel like a huge problem because it's still costing you those spell slots.
Yeah.
You're still investing your spell slots. It's not free. It's not like you're casting a free spell. It still costs you. But you are doing 2 spells in one turn, which could be really powerful.
Yeah. But for now, it's fine. If it becomes a problem later on, we'll think of something else. Mm-hmm. But I don't see any problem with it.
Yeah, Venom, technically, in the rule books, you can't do that. But yeah, that's why we're discussing it now. That's why we're having this session. So
yeah, that's why we're having these sessions.
It's not a problem now, but I think because you know people.
I think if it becomes a problem, then we'll have to talk about it.
Yeah, people get really
more.
crafty and find loopholes, and if that's why they have the rules, because people were finding these loopholes and they were getting 2 fireballs in one turn.
Yeah,
that's like you'd have to account for 2 fireballs per turn on that wizard in the encounter. As a DM, you'd have to like say, okay, he's gonna use 2 fireballs, so I have to double the amount of enemies. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, or make them double the health or something.
Double the health or something.
Yeah, but
+5 scimitar.
Yeah, we need magic items. We're what, level 4? We're
level
still great
1
here.
It was the first day.
I know we
It was
lost
the very
it.
first
that was
session.
the first day.
But we lost it.
And then you guys got the +5 scimitar, and then you lost it.
No, we couldn't get it. We rolled terribly.
No, you got it. You had it, and then you lost it.
No, I don't think we ever had a 5+ scimitar.
We
Yeah, you
did
did.
until we got captured.
It
Yeah.
wasn't that like a
Dress,
+1
I think,
goblin
was the
to
one
goblin
that
sword?
had it.
Or maybe that was the scimitar. It's the one that Mima gave to Gress, right?
Yeah, it was a scimitar. It was a +5 scimitar.
Okay.
It was a +5 to goblins scimitar.
Of course, to be fair, Moon kind of screwed up that encounter. But
Eh.
she thought +5 was something else.
Yes, exactly. But now that we have everything situated out,
Still afraid of that sword.
you're still afraid of that.
Yeah, those little goblins are hitting so hard. We were like
And
level
yet, one hit kills them.
It was the tutorial.
Unless you roll a 1.
I said a hit, not a... Yeah, well, unless you roll a 1 for your hit, but normally you guys roll between 5 and 10.
Were you not there the last time?
I know, it sucked.
Yeah. Oh, we also came up with using icons for buffs like Bardic Inspiration and Bless to help players. Instead of one player just constantly reminding someone that they have this inspiration, there's an icon now, which might
For
help.
it specifically.
Yeah.
We also have an icon for being overburdened.
Mm-hmm.
It's a boot. It's a little boot.
Yeah. Bindo's already overburdened because he's like carrying rope.
Well, you can give the rope to somebody else.
Yeah, I could find and see who can carry it. It's just, it doesn't feel like he has that much loot. And he's already overburdened.
Well, actually, you have more than anybody else in their inventory, to be honest.
Yeah? I mean, I have a lot of little things, too. I haven't dropped the spider legs.
Well, let's see. Yeah, you have about twice as much as everybody else has.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we also decided to do the unequippedness and the equippedness stuff. That made no sense. But anyways, if it's on your person, you can have it equipped. If it's not, I expect it in your backpack and unequipped.
Mm-hmm.
Type idea. What's the other thing? What else did we go over, Silver?
There was something else, and I was holding it, and then now I forgot what it was.
Oh?
I'm like, I'm gonna bring this up in a little bit, and then now it's gone. I don't know what it was. We started talking about encumbrance.
Well, we have icons now. That's nice.
Oh, yeah, we did go over how Bless and Bardic Inspiration works.
Oh, yes,
I don't
we
know
should
if
go over
anybody
that
needs,
here,
like,
too.
clarification.
So, with the symbols came some more clarification on how Bardic Inspiration and Bless works or will work. With Bardic Inspiration, you can use, well, with Bindle's Bardic Inspiration, we'll be precise here. With Bindle's Bardic Inspiration,
Yeah, he has the College of Valor version.
Yeah. You can use it for a attack roll, an advantage on attack roll, damage roll, saving throw as a reaction, or armor class as a reaction as well. If you're using it for an armor class, you must ask for the raw dice roll before you roll it. And
yeah, so
this is before I tell you whether or not it hits or miss.
Yeah, so that's gonna take a little of anticipation though.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we don't know that you're actually rolling for damage.
Right, and that's what I'm going to have to sort of work on, is telling you guys which goblin's attacking which person.
Yes.
Sorry. Hold on, let me get some water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because in the last fight, I think it was more like you're doing the damage rolls, and then we find out the result at the end, who's actually got targeted and for how much.
Yeah,
then,
so I'm gonna have to do it a different way, and I'm okay with
like, oh, can I use Bardic Inspiration then? Because I didn't even know I was the one being targeted. So
right. Now the catch with that is with Bless, you can also use it on a what was it? A saving throw and an attack roll.
Yeah.
But because it's not, I don't want you guys doubling up on dice. You can't use Bardic Inspiration and Bless on the same attack roll or same saving throw.
Yeah.
But you can, I guess. I'm not going to deny you this, but you can use it. Like, you can use Bless on your attack roll and then Bardic Inspiration on your damage roll. Now, the other thing with Bless, it is a concentration spell.
Mm-hmm.
So that means it's a persistent spell until it ends on you, or until she uses another concentration, or she gets hit, or and she fails her Constitution save, or she chooses somebody else to have the Bless.
Yeah. Now, how do we get that in a roll? Like, do you roll first and then roll your Bless, then add that to your first roll? Because the game doesn't do it for you, right? It doesn't say, like, roll with Bless.
No, it doesn't. You'll have to roll your dice and then roll with Bless. I probably won't say whether or not you hit or miss until you decide whether or not you're going to roll with Bless or Bardic Inspiration.
Yeah, with Bless, there's no reason not to use it.
Right.
It's kind of like a permanent buff on you
until those situations occur.
Yeah.
But yes.
Yeah. So there's really no reason not to use it. It's just for me, I kind of forgot that I had it here or there, so I would just roll normally, and then.
Well, and that's the reason for the symbols now.
Yeah.
You have the symbol, and you'll have to, and once they tell you who has that, they are the ones that have to put the symbol on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And realize that if I say, oh, you don't have the symbol, then don't expect me to be okay with telling you the raw roll if it's a Bardic Inspiration.
Yeah. Okay.
So make sure you get the symbol in.
I thought of
when
something,
somebody says it.
I thought of something that may get kind of messy. Hoppa's got a new spell called Aid. It adds 5 HP to a person, and it's not temporary. It's actually part of their health pool, which means it could be diminished and then healed back up. But how are we going to put that on our character sheet?
It's under temporary hit points. I think
we would treat it like temporary hit points that can be healed?
I would assume so.
Okay.
Oz!
What? I don't run roll 20.
I'm talking about aid. We're talking about aid.
I'm talking about roll 20.
Your spell bolsters your allies with toughness, and resolve. Choose up to 3 creatures in range. Each target hit point maximum and current hit points increase by 5 for the duration. What's the duration? And is it concentration?
8 hours. Not concentration.
8 hours.
8 hours. It's really nice.
It's just a buff.
Yeah, but it's like how to. So we use temporary hit points, but it could be healed, right? So we got to kind of keep track of that.
Well, okay, so say your maximum's 46, like Hoppus's is, and she uses it on herself and 2 other people. Well, that would make her 51 for temporary hit points, and then that can be healed. To my understanding, now does that show up?
Yeah,
That's not how temporary hit points work, though.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point. That doesn't work either, anyway.
Because Bindle does have the enhanceability bear form, which gives temporary hit points, and I've used that for that because it made sense. Once you lose it, it's gone, and it doesn't affect your normal health points. But this one does.
You would change your current hit points. That's how that works.
Yeah, to 51.
So if you're looking,
we just have to remember to undo it.
No, if you look in your character sheet,
it'll say current hit points.
There's 3 spaces. So at the very top, on the very slim top of that hit points, it says hit point maximum. So that's your character's hit point maximum. Then your current hit points with aid would be increased by 5, so it'll be 5 more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then that's how you would do that. Yeah, okay, that works better, actually. Yep. Yeah, that'd work better. So with Hoppus, it would look like what on her sheet? Hold on. Oh, it sort of redoes the bar. Okay. Yeah, that'll work. Yep. Alright, so there's that. Any other questions? Concerns? Thoughts?
None that come to mind right away.
Oz? Any?
What?
Questions, concerns, otherwise?
We need less goblins.
Would you like wolves instead?
How about skeletons?
Okay, skellies. We'll do skellies.
Last time we fought skeletons, they wrecked with range.
But that was with the necromancer. That doesn't count.
Which, by the way, if we had used prone, they wouldn't have. I mean, they would have been at a disadvantage. But that's just an example of, like, I can only speak for myself, but that's an example of me not knowing I had that option to avoid that much damage. So I just face tanked those arrows. I mean, at the time I wasn't playing, but I think you know what I'm getting at. Like, I didn't know I had that option. Now, I guess that's why I brought things up to Moon, is like to help us survive a little better, play the game a little better, so we're not just face tanking and dying because we have bad rolls.
Right.
We could use our strategy a little better. Like in the spider cave, I felt that the choke point and the frontline wall worked for the most part until the giant spider came out. But strategy like that, where positioning has an effect on combat, I feel we need to do that a little better.
I would have to agree with you.
I mean, some of the problem is that we all our front lines gone.
Yep, you guys don't have any
Bindo is
attackers, really.
Yeah, Bindo's tanky AC wise comparatively, but not a lot of health. And then Hop is his next. In fact, she leveled. Is her AC right?
Yeah, her AC should be right.
Her AC on the little, when you click their icon, you see their circles, the red, green, and blue.
Yep, her AC is 17.
17. Could have sworn it went up to 18 last time.
No, it was 17.
It is 17 now.
Remember, we were having problems with her AC because of like 2 or 3 shields on her or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And then she was wearing something that she couldn't wear, and that screwed up her AC and a few other things.
Ah, okay.
I mean, it's the same as with, I think Wolf. Wolf, I don't think can wear, is it Wolf? I think it's, I don't know if it's Wolf. Where is it? Yeah, it's Wolf. Wolf can't really wear leather armor, or really any armor, because it'd be better to have no armor than to have armor.
Oh, kind of like the problem with Bindle wearing like medium armor.
Yeah.
He actually loses dexterity armor.
Exactly. In Wolf's case, it's his natural armor is better than his leather armor, scale armor, or whatever that he had. I think it was leather armor. I'd have to look in his inventory again to find out.
Okay, I have
for sure.
have another question of sort.
Mm-hmm.
Something that you're supposed to be able to do in the game as a caster is hold on to your cast. The example that was given was you could cast the fireball and have it prepared. So the fireball is in your hand ready to fire. And I don't know what advantage you get out of that. But I'm wondering, could you do that with things like prayer or healing?
Well, let me look at fireball first.
Yeah, fireball is the example they gave. You could prepare a spell. You have it ready, they called it. Have it ready. And I don't know about that mechanic or how it works.
Well, we kind of don't do things like that. We don't have the readiness. We don't ready anything, really.
Yeah,
you can, though.
Seems really...
Yeah, you can.
That's actually a thing.
Yeah. I don't even know why you would ready a fireball.
Yeah, like it's instant anyways, right? That's what I'm thinking.
Why the hell would you ready a fireball?
Does it like not cost you your turn or something? Like,
so here's the as we go into the fuzzy red area again. So you can take your action to prepare a fireball, and the next action you release it, which wouldn't be your action. What?
oh, so you'd be able to release the fireball and take an action?
I would assume. Hold on.
That would explain why you would want to do that.
Hold on.
Okay, so as far as I can tell, the ready action allows you to react to a specific perceivable circumstance. Like, I mean, you could probably take a few minutes to ready that 10-minute spell that Hoppus has before you enter a cave or something like that.
Yeah, then it would have to be the very first spell she could cast that's not a bonus action.
Well, actually, a ready action takes an action.
Yeah, so like if you do it before you get into combat and you have that spell ready, then you start a fight. Will you be able to cast something else?
Well, you'd be able
Did it
to
just have
use
the
that
prayer
spell
healing
as a
ready?
reaction, according to this.
As a reaction?
Because it's readied, apparently you can use it with your reaction.
So you could hold on to it and do other things, other spells,
I
until
would
you
assume
want to
not.
as a reaction.
I'm still finishing reading.
Okay. Because the prayer healing spell for Hoppus seems really underwhelming. Like it takes 10 minutes to cast. Like if you're
Okay,
on a
so it
combat-
actually takes concentration. So the spell would automatically cost concentration.
So it's your concentration.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you would have to use it before your next turn.
Before your next turn. So that would
If
In
you
other
intend
words-
to use a spell.
In other words, you have to use it as a reaction.
Yes, you have to use it as a reaction.
It doesn't seem that great, huh?
Well, I don't know. I mean, for your prayer of healing, not yours, Hoppus's, I
Hoppus,
should
it's
say.
Like it seems powerful on paper, but if you have like
But
10
it takes 10 turns.
Yeah, if you have 10 minutes to cast it,
Or
you might as well take a short
60
rest.
turns. Yeah.
It's like I'm trying to find a situation or certain conditions where this spell might actually be useful.
Let's see. Yeah, cast time takes 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And see, the only way you could ready the spell is if it only takes an action.
Oh,
That's how you would...
So you wouldn't be able to ready that spell anyway?
According to the readiness thing I've been reading.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know when this would be useful.
Mm-hmm.
Up to 6 creatures within your range.
Like it's a like I said, it's really strong on paper. It's just I can't find a situation where you could actually use this to any practical effect.
Well, if you're escorting several people and they somehow get injured, and because a short rest takes about 4 hours. This is only a 10-minute spell.
I read a short rest was an hour. I mean, you could make it 4 hours, but
let's see. Short rest.
yeah, I also think we need to be taking more short rests, especially with the bard in the group. I'm just afraid
especially with what?
A bard.
A bard?
Yeah, he has a song of rest, which makes a short rest even better.
Cool.
Yeah. But I'm also afraid of taking a short rest and then having something happen because we took too long. I feel like I don't know. I feel like I rushed a lot in this game. I'm not sure. I don't know if it's just me. Like we've taken like one short rest ever.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so I think that's another reason why we get.
So there's a reason why, and I found out it's wrong.
What's that?
Short rest does restore your spell points. And I didn't know that.
Doesn't it depend on the class?
Nope.
It doesn't say whether or not it does.
I gotta
How many
find
spell
out where
slots
I
does it?
saw it again.
What?
I need to find the damn thing where I read it. I'm trying to find it again.
I've seen an example of some classes, like I think clerics may get their divinity back, something like that.
God, sometimes Roll20 just makes you want to slam your head against the wall. Because what's funny is if you look at short rest and long rest, neither one of them says you get spell points back, which is retardedly stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Alright, let me see. Oh, that's not helpful. Tell me what I'm looking for.
They do hint at it with resting in general.
Yeah.
But there's no specifics.
Freaking.
Yeah. Doesn't say one way or another, really.
There's crafting.
Oh, wait, hold on. You actually may be correct. Do.
Okay.
We haven't even talked about what we're gonna do in the campaign next.
Okay, so it could be class specific. Hold on, I'm looking at cleric. But in warlock, it definitely says you regain all expended spell slots when you finish a short warlock.
Okay, so I did find it. I think I found what you were looking at, and I think I found the different Pacific classes. So, a short rest is an hour break or longer, up to 4 hours, I would say, because if you did it longer than 4 hours, you might as well do a long rest. But anyways, an hour, and we'll say up to 4 hours. And during this, you get all your hit points back, and then...
Whoa.
Not all, right? Hit
No.
dice.
No.
You have to
get
expend hit dice.
Yeah, you spend your hit dice, is what I meant to say.
Okay.
And
I
then
just
you
finished the...
roll the hit dice to see how many hit points you get back.
Yeah. And then all dice are class specific. In addition to spending hit dice, certain classes can regain benefits. Including warlocks regain spent spell slots, druids regain spent uses of wild shape, wizards can use their arcane recovery feature to regain some spell slots, level 5 bards can regain used bardic inspiration, monks regain all spent ki, and fighters gain their action surges back.
Nothing for clerics then, right?
Yeah, nothing for clerics.
Okay.
Or at least nothing here specifically. These are examples. You'd probably have to look up cleric specifically to find out.
I looked up cleric, and cleric says you regain all expended spell slots when you finish a long rest.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, because they also have that special... the channel divinity.
Yeah. I think their channel divinity can't affect undead. When you use your channel divinity, you can choose which effect to create. You must then finish a short or a long rest to regain it back. So you can regain the channel divinity after a short rest.
Okay.
Which is her healing ability for her hit points or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's 5 times her cleric level, I think, actually.
Yeah. And she can decide the split.
Mm-hmm. And, yeah. Alright. Alright, so... now that that's taken care of, and my cat looks like it's standing still for some reason.
You can't see
it. Well, it couldn't see me because of what I was trying to read. My camera couldn't see me. I was being short. For some reason.
Oh, that cat. I thought you meant your real life cat.
I don't have a real life cat anymore. I miss Miss Kitty. I really do. Oh my god, that's a funny story. Okay, real quick, funny story. We took my cat into the veterinarian. They asked for the owner's name and the cat's name. I put down the cat's name as Miss Kitty and then my name for the owner. And they're like, "Is there a Miss Kitty here?" I'm like, yeah, this is Miss Kitty. And they're like, no. We're looking for Miss Kitty. As in a person, apparently. I'm like, did you not read that? It took him about 5 minutes to figure out that Miss Kitty was the cat and not as in Miss Kitty the owner. Yeah, so which is funny because her full name is Kiki Kitty, so but we always called her Miss Kitty because Kiki just took forever. And so that's what I put down on the thing when I went there, and they're like, no. Alright, so, we are past 1 o'clock. We are past 1 o'clock.
That's right, we have a game to play, don't we?
Yes, we have a game to play now. Yep. It is D&D time!
Alright.
It is past 1 o'clock, people. Past 1 o'clock.
I'll be right back.
Okay, yeah, let's take a little bit of a break before we get started. Okay, guys? BRBs.